On to World 3. Maybe the best world in the entire game. But before I even get into that, got teleporters. Neat little Overworld edition. Oh wait, no, there's a mini boss fight first. Yeah, if you are spending any amount of time on the Overworld in purple, you're going to be encountering a whole ton of these guys. I still think it's worth showing them because sometimes unique enemies that appear in here that never appear in any levels. Usually get some sort of unique arena alongside that. You get to see what enemies look like when they're using your own weapons against you. Cluster Frisbee in this case. There are still a lot of them, though. Nah, I'm keeping the fireball anyway. That can destroy televisions. I mean, not that it really matters, because, yeah, that first attempt that I had at this level was definitely not the one that was 100%. That fireball is long gone. Now, World 3 continues the same tradition as World 2, which is to say, levels remain pretty long, but also start to get even harder. Some really difficult enemies introduced here. For example, these flowers that shoot homing bullets that will then split into even more bullets the second they hit any surface. I mean, yeah, you can destroy the flowers easily, but you still got to deal with the bullets after that. They're pretty much the enemy version of the one attack the demonic, the boss of the last world, used. And in addition to that, you also have those trash cans that you might have seen sitting around, which are just completely invincible, unless you have your own invincibility power-up to deal with them. Generally not something that comes up too much. But they spew a whole ton of garbage at you, which can be pretty hard to dodge sometimes. It's like those are only two of the enemies that are going to be introduced in World 3 here. No, but for the most part, though, World 3 starts out nice and easy, nice and simple. It's actually sort of a transitionary type of, like a part in the World 3-1 here that sends you from World 2 into World 3 proper. Sort of a neat little twist on how worlds work. Usually if you're thinking like Mario or something like that, you generally are just thrown immediately into whatever the next world is going to be. Here it actually kind of feels like you're going across a continent, despite the fact that it is a completely different world now. I like it. Couple extra of these things. Time to get paid. Finally. Been on this adventure for so long. Still not entirely sure why Purple Guy was locked up by a demon, but I mean, the guy is a demon, so I assume that it's probably unlawful imprisonment, so whatever. Point is, that sort of restitution will only pay for some of the trauma experienced during his imprisonment time. Honestly, I don't even know what he's going to spend this on. This is some sort of crazy, wacky world. I don't even know if they use money. A giant pipe. Neat. Yeah, easiest way to get through here is just go as fast as possible. Also lava, because I guess they have a lava pipeline around here. Maybe it's a geothermic energy? I don't know, whatever. Checkpoint. And then, into the big city. That's right. That's exactly what World 3 is going to be all about. I mean, it kind of makes sense now that Demonic had a bunch of street signs in his area. It's like that wasn't just a one-time asset use. No, you get to see a whole lot of them here as you're going around raiding people's apartments for as much money and fruit as possible. Hey, get out of here. Now the entire point of that is, one, should really be fixing their floors, but also two, you get a couple extra hearts, which can be pretty useful. Nice try, Slimes, but it's not going to work this time. Yeah, this is definitely a theme that works really well for Purple, I would like to say entirely. Because, you know, these very large levels are all about big winding areas, you know, going in and out of doors to try to find all the collectibles possible. It makes a lot more sense when you're going in and out of apartment buildings rather than, say, going through a bunch of floating blocks in a forest somewhere. Just some hearts. Also soup. Labeled as soup. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much a match made in heaven as far as the sort of basic gameplay of Purple and theming goes. Yeah, no, I'm keeping the plasma gun. That plasma gun's just too good in this game. I can't get rid of it. Takes out those fire-headed guys pretty easily too, which is great, because those guys won't stop for anything, and they have a lot more health than you would expect a lot of enemies up until this point would have. I love those guys. I mean, they didn't even empty out the bowl of pasta before putting it on their head. Anyway, it's the exact same as the melon-headed guys from the last world, except they have a string of spaghetti on the fork, which makes them a little bit longer and a little bit more likely to hit you. Anyway, up on the rooftops here, I mean, one, it is a good thing that I kept that plasma gun just for that alone. But two, it is pretty much an entirely separate level. It's a sort of Castlevania-style fall down just onto the bottom concrete level, rather than, you know, dying the second that you fall those pits. That's interesting, because Purple is a game that really does try to sort of marry the concepts of Taser. I'll talk about that later. Just to marry the concepts of like a Metroid-style game with a more traditional type of platformer. I think, in a lot of the ways, for the better. I mean, World 3, if nothing else, kind of shows... It's definitely where Purple starts to develop its own voice as a game. The first couple worlds were very linear, very Mario-like, even despite having the whole collection type of thing and all that. But here, it's like you have a very clear, very good theme going on. The actual gameplay... Looked like I glitched that out for a second, but... Yeah, the actual gameplay starts to make a lot more sense, starts to become a lot tighter. One of the things that Rolling Cat did say in the description for Purple was that this was supposed to be more of a test of how to make a game in Game Maker rather than being, you know, a fully formed product by itself. And I do think that you can kind of see that in the first couple worlds where they're pretty simple, pretty basic. Here's where I think Rolling Cat started to get, like, the idea of how... damn it. Don't hit the gun out of me. I need that gun. But, yeah, here's where I think that like, everything that Rolling Cat learned during the first couple worlds, it's like it has become more comfortable and now has turned into some actual real good design. Like, he can focus more on the theming or something like that rather than worrying about actually getting a game that works. It's no surprise, this is something that I've seen a lot in, like, a lot of different indie games. Usually my go-to is talking about, say, Mario hacks or something like that. Ooh, invincibility. You might remember that area with all those spikes earlier. And also just the most chickens ever, but anyway. And there we go. And a lot of rooftop hopping right now. But it's a good thing I did that. Gotta get all this pizza, man. If you're in the city and not grabbing a slice, it's like, what are you doing? And a completely different part of the city you can see by a different background. I like that the door can show each individual background in it so you know where you're going. Yeah, it's a lot of like little touches here. It's not so much worrying about basic gameplay. Like I was about to say that, yeah, you can see this in a lot of like Mario levels too, where levels start to get longer, they start to get more complex, they start to get maybe more gimmicky, when people clearly start to have more comfort when it comes to designing stuff. And I think that's definitely something that happened here. A single apple. Thanks, man. Also, how did you grow a tree that large in your apartment if you don't have any light in there? Also, gigantic bathtubs. Man, what is going on in this town? Yeah, but I do think that one of the things that this game has over like a Mario hack type of indie design is that I think that Rolling Cat clearly played through a lot of his levels many, many times, because nothing here feels like it was, you know, a half-hearted attempt. I do think that even at the very beginning, it might be a little bit rougher But it still is a good game. I mean, there was a good base, and now it's made even better by the time you get to World 3 here. Yeah, I think I said that the plasma gun had the strongest hit possible, but no, the fully charged hammer does the most amount of damage. Now that's just a cruel trick. I mean, yeah, I know it's pretty well telegraphed, but I would have been mad if I died there. The 311 building, I guess that building has amber as the color of its energy. No, that actually means something completely different. You'll see a few places where there's just numbers around, and it'll become a lot clearer what that's actually used for later. For right now, I mean, maybe just remember it. Taser. Taser is terrible. It's just a terrible weapon. It's a melee weapon in this game, and this game, I mean, you always have a ranged weapon at all points in time. It can't destroy blocks, it can't destroy televisions. I think that when you hit an enemy with it, it will arc electricity to... What's with the slime stairway? It'll arc electricity to the next enemy, but that's about it. It's almost entirely useless otherwise. Not every weapon is created equally in purple. Some of them are just kind of dumb, jokey weapons, certainly. Hey, it happens. And yes, that one area with the red that required the red screwdriver is something, but it's going to be something you'll see a little bit later on. Man, really racking up the points. Also 3s and 6s. Like Queens of the Stone Age around here. Anyway, yeah, I didn't show this in the other run because I had already gotten the diamond, but there's where you get one of the diamonds. And you might remember the invincibility power-up and the big spike hallway down there. That leads to the other diamond. Yes, it leads to the other diamond. Yeah, this is something that asks you to remember something pretty specific about the level. And is also... maybe did not go fast enough, but that's fine anyway. Shouldn't have dropped down immediately, but that's fine. Yeah, that table was the one that had a whole bunch of the croissants and donuts on it. But again, the 100% run, I had already collected that. World 2. Another one of those night areas here. Yeah, it really does seem like there would be something up there, doesn't it? That's a usual sort of platformery type thing to hide stuff over there. At least if you're playing like Donkey Kong Country. Thankfully, not the case here. Now, that was a little bit mean as far as design goes. But yep, you can already see in the door. Oh, it's still the big city. But now it's a big city at night. I like it. Has a good track for it, too. Little jazzy thing. Well, hey, I was missing the fireball before. It's nice to have the fireball again now. Yep, no, don't want to destroy all of those. It's a pretty basic puzzle, but it is a little frustrating that you can kind of ruin that for yourself. And, close. Also, I missed one of the bags of money, which is going to be a little bit important to get more money, but also to actually complete the level. Hey man, I can totally understand Purple Guy's need for as much cash as possible. I feel the same way. Now that enemy is another unique one introduced in this level here. See a little bit more of them. Well, see exactly what he does in just a second here, I think. If I'm remembering how I played this level correctly. Yeah, I don't know. I think that was just an accident that was designed like that. But it really did seem like it was going to be something. Don't push it too far. And there we go. So I'm going to need either the plasma gun or the hammer to actually get in there. Go back to that a little bit later. I thought I showed what that guy's gimmick was, but alright. There we go. That's the first teleporting enemy in the entire game. when you shoot at him, he teleports away from you. And that's something that's shared with a lot of, well, all of the red type of enemies that you'll see around here. There's also red spring guys, for example, too. They're difficult to deal with. Obviously something that is like a more melee type of weapon, like a... Well, I mean, sometimes you can just kind of force them in the corner, and then they can't teleport away from you. And oftentimes you just want to avoid them. Hey, it's that soup again. I mean, I guess, hey, you know what? Maybe that's the one good usage for the taser. Earthbound. Yep, you can definitely see inspiration from Earthbound, at least for a lot of the sprite work of this game. And definitely the whole big city style. I mean, come on. That really screams a lot that sort of thing, doesn't it? Well, you vote yes and no, and they cancel each other out. I guess it makes a little sense, almost. A Mario puzzle, finally. Ah, that's cute. It's probably going to be the thumbnail for this episode. Alright. Got some televisions over here, and then with the gun, I can finally go pound down that one steak. There we go. Now, I could just Castlevania knock back my way into that cache, but that's kind of cheesy. There's a better way to do it. I don't actually remember that there's a better way to do this. All these episodes were recorded back in July of last year, so... I don't really remember exactly how I did that, if I just cheesed it out or not. Obviously, going to be going up to the rooftops to be getting that. So to be able to pound down that other steak. So let's see if I can get that right now. I do like the multi-usage of some of the night-type areas here. Not really all that necessary, but sure, it's fine. Then same sort of deal as last time. Oh, come on! Bats. I tell ya. You know, not only just fitting with this game a whole lot, I do think the whole city aesthetic also is just a good one for games in general. Because, man, you can put a lot of, like, little things all over the place, and it all... Thank you. And I guess I probably would have rather kept the gun, but that's fine, too. Whatever. I can always get a second one. There we go. Ah, yes. This area. Which I don't know if it has an actual name. I like to call it the Jazz Club. A bunch of unique enemies in here, which is to say musical instruments that are really frustrating to fight. I should have held down jump. Like a unique background. That song always plays in it. A very strange little area. But I suppose, you know, that does kind of work towards my previous point of... Like, you can put a lot of stuff in a city. There's a lot of little background elements, neat things to see all over the place. It's a good theme for being able to have a whole ton of background elements that are all pretty neat to see. 413. More numbers. What do they mean? And back outside, but not quite yet because I don't think that I have... Nope. Yeah. It's no surprise that you just kind of leaves the city, much like the last level, to actually beat it. But I don't have all of the stuff collected just yet. Gotta be waiting a little bit longer before I can go do that. I mean, in general, I think that... Also, maybe one of the reasons why I think that... Oh, yeah, I turned off the electricity, I guess, didn't I? Did I? You know, I said that like it was a matter-of-fact thing. I don't actually know. Kill the spring guy? It's like, it's not really worth it. He's just gonna come back. I'm not gonna stop him by killing him there, but... It's like, I guess I could show off that it's possible. Yes, please. I mean, hey man, it might do slightly less damage, but it does pretty much everything that the hammer does. And also gives you, like, semi-flight. Oh yeah, that thing. That is a clip from... It is a clip from, what is that? Move Your Feet by Junior Senior. Which, again, probably something that gave a little bit of inspiration to the game. Just because of its crazy art style. Neat little pixel music video. Which, yeah, I mean, you might think it's like, wait a second, you just have music videos from the early 2000s on instant recall? Yes. Anyway. Definitely a good place to get some inspiration, if nothing else. Move Your Feet, Junior Senior, go watch it, or go watch it. It's pretty good. I'd still say it probably holds up pretty well. Anyway, yeah, just don't even deal with those guys. It's not worth it. That was close. Will you get out of the way? I need to go up those stairs. Not even gonna screw around with you guys here. And there we go. When I don't need to, when I have the... Yeah, I've already beaten the level. Why would I need that checkpoint? I mean, I've already essentially beaten the level. Why would I need that checkpoint? And I guess you're probably... I don't know, I was just thinking, it's like, wait a second, are you supposed to, like, go up from... Man, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Never mind. Anyway, back into the other side of the jazz club, as I like to call it. Yeah, those guys can be pretty annoying with the shooting music all over the place. I mean, not just from, like, a sound pollution standpoint, but also because those things are a little bit unpredictable to actually dodge. Get out of here. And honestly, I could have probably made it from the other side here, too. Okay, yeah, this is what I was thinking of earlier. I was thinking it's like, yeah, you're not actually supposed to use the plasma gun to get over here, but you're supposed to go from this side. I broke the level. Man, it has been a little while since I played this. I completely forgot that this was even a thing. Just more proof that the plasma gun is absolutely overpowered to just a ridiculous extent. And yeah, here's where you're supposed to get the screwdriver proper, and you're not supposed to just fly over the entire area, which I did anyway. Why did you introduce this as a possibility in the last level if you didn't want me doing it? Okay, now the checkpoint makes a little bit more sense. So as it turns out, I wasn't crazy. Always good to have that confirmed, to say the least. All right. I told you, these levels start to get pretty long. But at least, if nothing else, I showed you the pro speedrunner strats for getting through this level. Sure, why not? Yeah, look for me playing purple at AGDQ next year. Actually, in like a month. What am I even thinking? Yeah, just a brief look around here, because I don't think there's any easy way to see exactly what your percentage is. I would suggest that for the next update of Purple, but the game came out 9 years ago, so yeah. Let's go. I did have 100% for a while, but I had forgotten that. Start to understand exactly what the basic layout of the World 3 is going to be. Anyway, this final level, the boss level, is themed around a hotel, and there are a ton of rooms to enter all over the place. All containing the only thing that you really need in a hotel, which is a television. I mean, come on, man, they don't advertise color TV for nothing. Anyway, most of the televisions have nothing in them. But yeah, if you're saying right now, oh right, numbers, you are correct. It's interesting. It's a very basic... There was me actually checking the notepad that I had written down with all the rooms that I need to go into. It's interesting because this is actually it's a weirdly basic and gimmicky level for the ending here. I mean, there's some fun stuff in it, but it's pretty straightforward for the most part. Kind of a far cry from the huge winding levels that had appeared previously. Sure, why not? Also, it isn't just a straight 3-floor, 4-floor or so hotel that you go through. There are some things like having doors be closed, having a bunch of like different layers all over the place. And, like also some things like having rooms be switched around or have like weird stuff in front of them. There you go, 100% right away. Pretty easy. Yeah, for example, the 1,000 unit weight that kills you when you try exiting the level without having passed it first. Why is that? I don't know, for flavor, I guess. As usual for checkpoints and boss levels, you get the old demon face. Wow. Should probably fix these floors. I'm seeing some issues with them right now. All right. And yeah, you might have noticed there that, yeah, they switched around 404 and 413 for a kind of stupid, but still pretty amusing joke. 413 was one of the things that you were supposed to be looking for. 404 has literally nothing. I like it. I don't care what you say. Also, should probably get pest control in here. A lot of bats in this place. Yep, I'm going full 1,000-year door right now. Now, if I were to actually keep this gun, it would be incredibly useful in the upcoming fight, but, well, let's just say not likely due to this. Do not jump here, because those are instant death spikes. Oh well. Let's get on to the next boss. Yep. I just had a hunch there might have been some extra hearts there. No such luck. Not that it really matters anyway. Night is dark and stormy. Also a ghost? I don't know. Whatever. Perfect mood for a boss fight. Let's just go with that. Boss fight against this guy, whom I believe is called Short Circuit. And here he is. I do think that he has less health than even demonic, but he has the ability to teleport, as you've seen from a couple of the enemies in this stage. That's right, it was actually building up to something. And all of his attacks are incredibly fast. Like, maybe a little too fast. Especially the one where he summons a lightning bolt on top of you, which I think he does right here. Yeah, that one's pretty difficult to dodge. He doesn't dodge every single one of your attacks so that you can actually, do damage to him. Yeah, try to teleport away from this. But if you're just like trying to peg him with a plasma gun from way far away, that's probably the best way to fight this guy. Although this is definitely not ineffective either. Well, provided that you're actually trying to dodge sometimes. And already done. No escape sequence this time. Kind of interesting. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. I don't know. And then next up, World 4. Except, no, it's not. Yes, you might remember all the way from the 3-1 that there is that one area that required the red screwdriver to get into that I didn't actually check out because it was filled with fireballs all over the place. Well, I'm sure the fact that this is coming after the boss fight, you can probably guess exactly what that is. Ah, so close. Yep. Got a bonus world left. Gotta get that good symmetry on the world map after all. Making a nice little pinwheel. Yep. I told you, there's a lot of them. Just comes full circle in this game, doesn't it? Kill the guy with the plasma gun first. Oh. Well, you can't win them all. Also, it doesn't really matter. It just kicks you right back out the screen regardless of if you win or lose, just with less lives. And one of the things I unlocked last time was the ability to get 10 lives when... Hey, come on, stop that. You can't Goomba Stomp me. I Goomba Stomp you. Also, a giant A. I told you, there's a bunch of different arenas in this. It's weird, but neat. I like it. Anyway, bonus level. Let's go. Entertainer, as per usual. And a bunch of the Jazz Club enemies outside of their usual habitat, which I think this might be the only time that actually happens in the game. I mean, in general, that's a little level type that isn't used too often. And consequently, the enemies are also not used too often. Kind of weird to see them, like, out of their element. Yeah, maybe don't want to mess around with that. Just a hunch. Wow. What a room. But it did change where those guys appeared, so... The Rip Van Fish enemies. Almost got me there. Not quite, though. Ooh, man, those notes are really difficult to dodge. Yeah, day and night makes no sense in the world of purple. There's something you gotta come to terms with if you want to live in this city? Why would you want to live in the city? I guess unless your head is on fire, it doesn't really seem like it's too welcoming of a place. And then the usual little armory right at the end here. Of course, I have the plasma gun. Why do I want anything else? Alright, and that'll do it for World 3. Only 2 levels proper, a boss level and a bonus level. And yet it still took over a half hour to show that. And that's not even counting the other attempts. But I did unlock a new starting too. Big city. Makes sense.